The world can change slowly, almost without notice. Uh, Great shifts in history often begin unseen. People move through their daily lives, they go to work, they raise families, they follow the news. The larger currents of change move beneath the surface of common awareness. Then, one day, something happens. A barrier breaks. A long-held secret comes into the light. Suddenly, the change is no longer quiet. It becomes clear for all to see. A new reality presents itself, demanding attention and forcing a re-evaluation of what was once thought to be true. The ground beneath our collective feet feels less solid than it did before. This process seems to be happening now. It concerns a topic long dismissed by serious people. For decades, the subject of unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP, lived on the fringes. It was a subject for tabloids and late-night radio shows, but that has changed. The power of Dan Farah's film comes from the credibility of its sources. He understood that for this topic to be taken seriously, the testimony had to be unimpeachable. The people speaking could not be easily dismissed as fantasists or frauds. They had to be individuals whose careers were built on discipline, observation, a commitment to national security. The film carefully presents these individuals, allowing their professional backgrounds to establish their authority. They are not telling ghost stories around a campfire. They are providing testimony about events they witnessed, programs they ran. They are reporting what they saw and what they know with the gravity of professionals who understand the stakes. Among the insiders featured are figures whose resumes are a testament to their access and experience. Commander David Fravor, Lieutenant Ryan Graves' encounters with craft that defy known physics. Their accounts, first made public in 2017, were a turning point. Active duty pilots, sophisticated military hardware. The film builds on this foundation, bringing in even more senior officials, operators in the field, managers and executives in top-level briefings, policy decision makers using collected data, intelligence community leaders, members of the Legislative Oversight Branch, John Radcliffe senators from oversight committees. These are people who have been privy to classified information not available to the public. Their willingness to come forward lends the subject a new and profound seriousness. Need for transparency, potential national security implications. No longer a fringe issue. Urgent national conversation at the highest levels of government. What these insiders collectively say is that the problem is real, observed by our most advanced sensors, witnessed by our most reliable military personnel, studied in secret for decades. They speak with a calm and measured tone, which makes their extraordinary claims all the more compelling. They are not claiming to have all the answers. Instead, they are stating that there are profound questions that have been ignored for too long. Secrecy has gone on too long time for an open, serious discussion has arrived. Their collective testimony forms a powerful narrative of a hidden reality slowly emerging into public view. One voice in the film stands out for its unique authority and scientific weight. It belongs to Dr. Hal Puthoff, a physicist with a long and storied career operating at the intersection of advanced science, national security, private industry. His curriculum vitae is not that of a typical academic. It reads like a cleared file from a secret archive. Dr. Puthoff has conducted research for the National Security Agency, Central Intelligence Agency. He has served as a trusted advisor to the United States government on the complex science and physics related to unidentified aerial phenomena. His work has been at the forefront of exploring concepts that challenge mainstream scientific understanding. For many years, Dr. Puthoff worked behind the scenes. He was a key figure in programs that analyzed data on strange aerial encounters. He was the chief science advisor to a private aerospace company founded to study and potentially replicate the technologies behind these advanced craft. He has spent his career in the spaces where speculative science meets hard engineering, where theoretical physics meets national defense. His deep involvement in these classified and sensitive areas gives his words a particular resonance. He is not an outside commentator offering an opinion. He is a scientist who has been on the inside, analyzing the data and briefing the officials in charge. When Dr. Puthoff speaks, he does not do so as a wild-eyed enthusiast or a teller of tall tales. He speaks with the precise and careful language of a trained scientist. He talks about metrics data and physical principles. He speaks like a man who is accustomed to the secure, soundproofed rooms where the nation's most sensitive secrets are discussed. His calm, sober demeanor makes his conclusions all the more impactful. For viewers and policymakers who respect scientific authority and institutional credibility, Dr. Puthoff's testimony carries immense weight. He helps to ground the conversation in the world of evidence and rigorous inquiry, moving it away from the realm of pure speculation. His role in the film is crucial. He bridges the gap between the eyewitness accounts of pilots and the hard science needed to understand what they saw. He can explain the physics that might allow such craft to perform their seemingly impossible maneuvers, discussing concepts like space-time metrics, engineering. He does not claim to have a complete explanation for the phenomenon. Instead, he presents the problem as a serious scientific and technical challenge. He warns that the questions raised by the UAP evidence are among the most profound and complex that humanity has ever faced. His presence elevates the film from a collection of extraordinary stories to a serious and urgent call for scientific investigation. The film organizes the testimony of its many insiders around 5 central and powerful claims. Each of these claims, if true, has the potential to fundamentally alter our understanding of history, technology, our place in the universe. They are not presented as wild theories, but as sober conclusions drawn from decades of classified evidence and testimony. The first and most foundational claim is the existence of a hidden legacy program that has operated for generations. Insiders describe a deeply buried effort within the government so secret that even many presidents and congressional leaders were allegedly unaware. Its purpose was to retrieve and analyze crashed non-human craft, a process known as reverse engineering. The second claim follows directly from the first. There have been crashes, materials have been recovered. Multiple witnesses, including program managers, scientists, testify that craft of unknown origin have crashed or been retrieved. They claim that materials from these craft have been collected and studied in secret laboratories. These materials are said to possess properties that do not align with any known human-made alloys or composites. Some of the most startling testimony even suggests that biological remains, bodies of the craft's occupants, were recovered from some of these sites. The people making these claims are not random individuals. They are officials who held positions that would have given them access to such information. The third claim is deeply unsettling and carries grave national security implications. Several high-ranking military officials testify that these unidentified objects have demonstrated an interest in and a capability to interfere with nuclear weapons. They recount incidents where UAP reportedly appeared over sensitive nuclear missile sites. In some cases, they allege that these objects had the ability to disable American nuclear missiles in their silos. This claim is chilling. It suggests the presence of a technology that can neutralize humanity's most powerful and destructive weapons at will. It raises profound questions about strategic stability and who or what ultimately controls the global security landscape. The fourth claim broadens the picture, describing a secret global technology race. Insiders suggest that the United States is not alone in this effort. Rival nations, particularly China, Russia, are also aware of the phenomenon and are aggressively pursuing the same advanced technology. They, too, are likely attempting to recover and study any materials or craft they can find. This competition creates a silent and urgent arms race for a technological prize of unimaginable value. Such a race, conducted in total secrecy, could drive rapid technological advancement, but it also significantly increases the risk of misunderstanding, miscalculation, potential conflict as nations vie for a decisive strategic edge. The fifth and final claim, the political dam of secrecy, is finally beginning to crack. For the first time in modern history, there is significant bipartisan pressure from lawmakers for answers and accountability. Senior members of Congress from both political parties are now openly demanding access to classified briefings, historical records related to UAP. They are passing legislation that mandates greater transparency from the Pentagon, the intelligence community. This concerted political pressure represents a fundamental shift. It may be the force that finally compels long-hidden programs and their secrets to be brought into the light of public and congressional oversight. What would these claims mean for society if they are proven to be true? The implications are vast and touch every aspect of human life. First, they would rewrite history. Post-World War II era, the Cold War development of technology. We would have to confront the reality that major historical events may have been influenced by hidden factors. Decisions of immense consequence were made in secret by a small, unelected group. Second, confirmation would revolutionize science and technology. New materials with extraordinary properties, energy, transportation, computing. Propulsion movement could open up entirely new fields of inquiry. However, this new science would also bring new dangers. The potential for weaponization is immense. The same principles that allow a craft to travel at incredible speeds could also be used to create weapons of unprecedented power, raising serious questions about how such knowledge should be managed and controlled for the benefit of all humanity. Finally, profound implications for national and global security. The assertion that an unknown intelligence can interfere with nuclear weapon systems is perhaps the single most urgent security issue. It means that our doctrines of deterrence, which have kept a fragile peace for over 70 years, may be based on a false premise of ultimate control. Leaders around the world will be forced to plan for entirely new kinds of risks and threats. The public, in turn, would demand answers from their governments. They would want to know what is known, what the plan is, and how they can be kept safe in a world that suddenly seems much larger and more complex. The wall of secrecy surrounding this topic was not built by accident. It was constructed deliberately and has been maintained for nearly 80 years. The reasons for such profound secrecy are both simple and complex. In the beginning, after initial events in the 1940s, secrecy was likely driven by a fear of public panic and social disruption. Leaders may have worried that revealing the existence of non-human technology and perhaps non-human life would lead to chaos. They might have also feared losing control of the narrative and the technology itself. Secrecy was a tool to manage a problem of unprecedented scale and complexity without alarming the population. As the years went on, the reasons for secrecy evolved. National security became the primary justification. If the United States had recovered advanced technology, it was imperative to keep that fact from its adversaries, especially the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Any recovered materials or knowledge represented a potential strategic advantage of immense proportions. Secrecy was essential to protect this research, allowing scientists and engineers to study it without foreign intelligence services learning of their progress. The goal was to reverse engineer the technology and gain a decisive military and technological edge. This logic created a powerful, self-perpetuating cycle of classification. Secrecy also served to protect the sources and methods used to gather information about UAP. Intelligence agencies are built on a foundation of secrecy. They need to protect their assets, their surveillance techniques, and their analytical capabilities. Admitting that they were tracking objects that they could not identify could have been seen as an admission of weakness or a failure of intelligence. Furthermore, secrecy can be used to hide mistakes, conceal wrongdoing, or cover up programs that are operating outside of legal or ethical bounds. Once a program is deeply classified, it becomes very difficult for any external body, including Congress, to provide effective oversight, which can lead to a lack of accountability. This culture of secrecy was reinforced by a parallel campaign of public ridicule. For decades, the subject of UFOs was actively stigmatized. Anyone who took it seriously, whether a private citizen or a military pilot, risked their reputation and career. This social and professional pressure was a powerful tool for enforcing silence. It ensured that most credible witnesses would not speak out, and that the media and scientific community would largely ignore the topic. The combination of official classification and public ridicule created a nearly impenetrable wall. It kept the secrets locked away, and it kept serious people from asking too many questions for a very long time. Now, after 80 years, that formidable wall of secrecy is showing significant cracks. The dam that has held back this information for so long may be starting to break. Several factors are contributing to this change. One is the growing number of credible whistleblowers. A new generation of officials and veterans, protected by recent legislation, are coming forward to testify under oath to Congress. Not to the media, to official oversight bodies. The sheer volume and consistency of their testimony are becoming too difficult for the government to ignore or dismiss. Another key factor is the shift in the political landscape. A dedicated group of lawmakers from both parties has decided that the risks of continued secrecy now outweigh the benefits. They are using their constitutional authority to demand transparency, creating a formal UAP office, mandating regular public reports, establishing a secure process for witnesses to come forward without fear of reprisal. This sustained political pressure from within the system is a new and powerful force. Public curiosity, government secrecy, legislative oversight, executive branch resistance. International competition is also playing a role. As insiders claim, the United States is not the only country interested in this phenomenon. China, another nation. If China or another nation were to achieve a breakthrough in understanding or replicating this technology, the strategic balance of power on Earth could shift dramatically. This global race makes it harder to keep secrets. Leaks become more likely as different parts of the government and defense industry compete for funding and influence to spur faster progress, to warn the public of the stakes involved in this silent competition. If the dam does break, society will face a series of profound choices. Leaders will have to decide how much information to reveal and how quickly to do so. Scientists will demand access to any recovered materials for open, peer-reviewed study. The public will want clear, unambiguous facts after decades of denial and obfuscation. We may be standing at the threshold of a new era of rapid and unpredictable change. This moment is not the end of the story. It is a critical turning point. The age of secrets may finally be giving way to an age of disclosure. The questions, long silenced, are now being asked in the open. The truth, if and when it arrives, will be large and it will change everything. One of them is a filmmaker named Dan Farah. He spent years working in secret. He did not seek the spotlight. He sought the truth from those who knew it best. He moved through the halls of power where few outsiders are ever permitted to go. Farah's method was deliberate and calm. He did not chase sensational stories or anonymous sources. He met with officials who held or had held positions of great responsibility. He sat in plain, secure rooms with United States senators. He had quiet conversations with admirals who had commanded fleets. He spoke with high-level directors from intelligence agencies, the very people tasked with protecting the nation's most sensitive secrets. He kept the project, which would become a film, a secret even from many of his own friends and colleagues. His goal was simple: to get the facts. He wanted people with real security clearances and real verifiable jobs to speak on the record. The result of this quiet, persistent effort is a film titled The Age of Disclosure. It is a landmark work not for its special effects, but for its witnesses.